Don't ask me why.
Explain the
I
joke.
may have known, but I forgot. Okay, settle down, everyone. Settle down. Settle down. I've just got to... What am I doing? I've just got to erase all of this. Cruel, cruel. Cruel, cruel, cruel. Right. It's fine. It's forever on the internet now. I might put that up on YouTube. As a sort of an aside. We have a joke here from Maniac Psycho. My local pub, writes Maniac, is a 5-minute walk from my house. My house, I would say, however, is a 40-minute walk from the local pub. The difference is staggering. Now, mathematically, generally speaking, this distance here from, let's say, H to P is the same as that. Yes? So, if in the joke, Maniac Psycho was walking at the same speed twixt H and P and H, we would expect the journeys to take the same amount of time. Thus, we can deduce that as the journey from H to P takes 5 minutes, which we're going to indicate by that, yes, but the journey from P to H takes 40 minutes, we see that basically he's clearly not travelling at the same speed. No, something's going on here. Now, a public house, as you know, because I think we've explained it in a previous that's a pub. And in a previous explanation, a public house is a house that has a license to sell alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises. Yes, and so it's reasonable to assume within the context of this joke that Maniac goes to the aforementioned pub in order to drink alcohol. You see, now alcohol is a molecule made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. You know what? We've not got time for that. And it has various effects on a human body, which I, as a human, have experienced myself. Effects such as the lowering of inhibitions. I think raising one's not raising one's body temperature, but raising this. One feels hotter, basically, and that's slightly dangerous because if you're not hot, then you end up trying to. Yeah, it makes your heat regulation go doolally, basically. Is this factoring in the Earth's rotation? Yes. Yes, it is. And the other thing that it does is it upsets when to excess. It upsets one's sense of balance. You see. Now, inside the ear, we have these chambers of fluid. I'm not quite sure what they look like, but let's go with this. And lining this chamber are lots of little hairs, I think, if memory serves. So we've got the fluid, you see. And as we sort of tilt and sway and whatnot, that liquid sloshes around in our ears, and our brains convert the sensation of that water sloshing around to basically tell us where the hell gravity's at. That's essentially its function. And one of the effects of alcohol is that it causes the that whole system to get a bit confused. And as a result of that, somebody who has been drinking a lot might have trouble standing, might have trouble walking, walking. And if one has ever walked on an uneven surface or stood around on an earthquake or on a ship, on the deck of a ship in rough weather. Not necessarily even rough weather. One will know that when the ground sways, one has to accommodate for that sway. And often that would involve, if it can sway to such an extent that we go off balance and we have to kind of correct ourselves. So if we were walking across an uneven surface such as that, we would have to do what was called staggering, essentially, which is, I suppose, to walking with an emphasis on correcting those disruptions to one's balance. But staggering has a different meaning. Staggering can also mean, we say something is staggering if something is so shocking that it kind of it makes us stand back. It makes us stand back. There's quite an interesting thing that happens if you're walking abreast with somebody and you tell them something alarming or amazing or fantastic. Often they'll stop walking. And that's essentially because our brains have only got so much processing power. And essentially, the person stops intuitively because they kind of need to commit all of their thought processes to this new information because it's so devastating. And I suppose the idea of information being staggering has a little something to do with that, as if we're given information that's so extreme that as we continue to walk, we struggle with walking. So it's staggering use. So it's, I believe, of a similar root. So if we can get back to the to Maniac Psycho's joke, which I think was about half an hour ago. We have my local pub is a 5-minute walk from my house. My house is a 40-minute walk from the local pub. The difference is staggering. So staggering here both relates to the amazing discrepancy between these two figures, and also the accounts for that discrepancy by suggesting that Maniac Psycho is so drunk as he emerges from the pub and goes home that his sense of balance is out, and he's tottering and staggering slowly back, and it takes him 40 minutes. So the difference is staggering. Basically, because staggering is doing two different things in that sentence at once, it becomes funny in a way that we've heretofore explained. So, Maniac Psycho, have I explained that joke to your satisfaction? And if so, we will try and get back to the game. So if it is, my fingers don't reach across the room to type. And again, Maniac Psycho. Oh, sublimely marvellous explanation. Thank you, Jack. No, I'm Jack, aren't I? Who are you? Maniac Psycho. Thank you, Maniac Psycho. We shall return forthwith to the game.